Shalom, 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 shalom. First, I'm going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahweh Bahashem, Rachakadash. Also, double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect, which is scattered abroad, preaching the word of truth and sincerity. I am the beloved brother Malak Amawan. I am from the Camp GMS Las Vegas. And also shalom to you beloved sisters, if I ain't say it. Shalom to you as well, the very few that listen in silence, as the scriptures say do so. Let's get into it, man. Supernatural. The meaning of supernatural, man. You know, and we understand that our power is super, you know, supernatural, man. You know, which means this, right? And we're going to get into scriptures, right? It says, in the way that goes beyond the natural laws of the world, something that cannot be explained by science or nature. It refers to miraculous, divine, or spiritual actions that only Yahawah, right, or a spiritual force could do. Let me do this real quick. I something I do, you know. Bear with me, y'all. Yahawah, you know, something, and only something that Yahawah or a spiritual force can do, which we understand that Yahawah is that spiritual force, man, that power, right? Yep. So yeah, and the Lord is the only one that can step out and do miraculous things. He can cause you not to burn in fire. You know, he can do whatever, man. Cause fire from heaven. It's all the Lord's doing, man. It's all his power, his supernatural power, man. You know. Let's get some scriptures, man. Yeah, see, perfect. Supernatural usually refers to doing something miraculous, like healing the sick. We're going to get into that. Parting the Red Sea, or sending food for ravens like he did Elijah. These all things that is unheard of, and that men cannot do like the Lord can do it, man. You know? Let's go to John 2 and 9. This is what I got in my notes, right? John 2 and 9. Let's go to that. 2. And now we're going to start at 7, right? As you can see. And Yahawah, who the word ending called Jesus, right, said it unto them, right? Fill the water pots with water. And they filled them up, right, to the brim, all the way to the top, right? And he said it unto them, draw out now a barrel unto the governor of the feast. So, you know, this is one of the Lord's miracles that he's doing, I believe. Quote me if I'm wrong, was one of like the first miracles that he did, right? And it says, and it's right here, right? And it's right here, and it says, and they buried it, right? When the ruler of the feast had tasted the water, right, that was made wine, and he knew whence it was, but the servant which drew the water knew, right? The servant knew, right? The governor of the feast called the bridegroom. So as you can see that the Lord told him to get the barrels, right? And he told him to fill it to the brim. And what's happening right here is Yahawah, he turned the water into wine, right? And when the ruler of the feast had tasted the water that was made wine, right, and knew not whence it was, but the servant knew, drew the water, knew. The governor of the feast called the bridegroom and said unto him, every man that at the beginning doeth forth good wine, right? Do it set forth good wine, And when it says, and when men have well drunk, then that which is worse. But thou hast kept the good wine until now, right? There'll be this right here. This is what the scripture say. This beginning of miracles did Yahawah in Cana of Galilee, and manifest forth his glory, and his disciples believed on him. So what Yahawah did right here is he turned what the water into wine. You know, he turned water into wine, man, and you know that's not natural. That's supernatural. What he just did. He told him to get water pots, right, and fill it to the brim, and and they did exactly what he told them to do, and the water turned into wine. You know what I'm saying? Yahawah turned that water into wine. That is not natural, you know? That's supernatural. Only things that Yahawah could do, you know? But how about Shema Shah can do, man, right? But let's go into another perfect example. Let's go to 1 Kings and 1 Kings 18 and 38. Right? 1 Kings 14 and 38. 13, Salakia. Bear with me, y'all. I'm trying to... 18, Salakia. Yeah. Still a little early for me. Let's go to verse 38. Let's get to the point, right? And this is going into where Elijah, you know, they did like they built the altars, you know, they got the 12 stones, they got the bullock, they poured water, you know, he poured water on top, like 12, like in a sense, barrels, jars of water, whatever, on top of the altar, right? And then you have the Baal prophets do the same thing. And, you know, this would have, and you know, Elijah prayed to Yahawah, and it actually happened, you know, right before, you know, the eyes of the prophets, you know, those false prophets, the Baal prophets, you know what I mean? But this is what I'm getting into, just to kind of get you where this is heading, though, right? So this is 1 Kings 18 and 38. Now, let's get into it. And it says, then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice and the wood and the stones and the dust, and lit up the water that was in the trenches. Now, where and what I'm gonna get into it, because that should have never happened. How it happened, because they poured water all over it and everything, but fire still was able to be consumed on that altar, which I'm gonna get into right here, right? And right here it is, right here, right? It says Yahawah respond immediately by sending fire from heaven. The fire doesn't just burn the sacrifice, it consumes it. See what I mean? And it says the bull, the wood, the stone, and the dust. And it's right. And watch this though. This is the kicker right here, right? And even the water poured. It says even the water Elijah had poured over the altar. And this is the whole point of it, right? Supernatural. It says supernatural, beyond natural, natural. Something only Yahawah's divine power can do. Now, what I'm going to say is this. He defined everything. He poured water on it, right? First of all, it's soaked in water. Fire came from heaven, and it burnt everything up. Everything, even the water, everything got consumed. That's not normal for that to happen, man. That's not normal at all. That is supernatural, man. Divine, man, what the Lord did with that. That was beyond the eyes can see, man. Like that right there should not have happened like that. But because Yahawah controls the elements and he's the true living power, it happened the way it happened. Right? Let's go to some more divine things that happen in the Bible, man. Let's go into some more divine events, man. Yahawah Shai walks on water. That's another one. You know what I mean? Let me see. Let me go to that. Let me see. 14. Mm-hmm. Fed 5,000. You know, he prayed to heaven and fed 5,000 and still had loaves left over, man. Like, come on, man. You can't make this up. Matter of fact, we can touch on this as we going down, right? But it says, but Yahawah said unto them, they need not to depart. Give them to eat, right? And they said unto him, we have but 5 loaves. They got 5 loaves of bread. Now take mine. It's 5,000 and more. I mean, I'm just saying, like, 3,000, 5,000 and more, man, right? And 2 loaves of, and 2 fish. And it says, he said, bring them hither to me. This is Yahawah speaking. You can see it's in red. And he commanded the multitude to sit down on the grass and took 5 loaves, right? And 2 fish and looked up to heaven. I'm telling you, man, that's what Yahawah is, right? And blessed and brake and gave the loaves to the disciples and the disciples to the multitude, man. And they all eat. They all ate and were filled, and they took up fragments. This is stuff that was left over that remained 12 baskets full. And they that had eaten were about 5,000, man, right? Besides women and children. So they was able to feed everybody that was there, right? They were able to feed everybody was there and still have fragments left over. They had leftovers, 12 baskets. And you already know that number 12, man, I can go into that, 12, man, 12, the Lord is amazing, man. That's just one, that's one of the miracles of many. And there's many others that wasn't re-recorded. It was so many. If it was recorded, hey, it was lost somewhere, but we get all that back in the kingdom. But that's one of many miracles that Yahawah Shai did through the Spirit of the Lord, man. Right? Let me see. Let's go into that word fragments. I just like doing this, man. This is what we over here in GMS be taught, right?
Strong's G 2801. Klasma.
Klasma. Right? Which goes into fragment, broken pieces. Remnants of food, man. It was fragments, it was broken pieces of food still left. This defines everything. 5 loaves cannot feed 5,000 in a natural sense, but this is a supernatural sense of things, man. Divine intervention sense, man. By the Most High, Yahawah Shai looked up to heaven and prayed to the Father. Who knows? He prayed, right? And they instantly started breaking the bread, man. And it began to. Could you imagine that? Could you imagine that? Like 5 loaves is there. That's a miracle. You're seeing a miracle. Breaking the bread, right? He breaking 5 loaves, and the 5 loaves keep on duplicating itself. It don't run out. Ooh, wow, man. That right there. The 2 fishes. 2 fish. This is supernatural. This is not natural. This is supernatural, man. Divine intervention, bro. 2 fish. And you seeing the fish just breaking the fish off. Now the disciples are feeding, duplicating, breaking off pieces, fragments, and filling people up with fragments off of fish and bread. That's amazing in itself. Any natural sense, the 2 breads and 5 loaves would have ran out and people wouldn't have got fed. But we talking about the Lord of Lords, King of Kings, Lord of Lords here, man. The divine intervention, he looked up to heaven. The Father broke bread, prayed to the Father, prayed to the Father, broke bread. You cannot tell me that's not divine and supernatural, divine intervention, supernatural right there, right? Wow, right? Man, oh man, you can't make this stuff up, bro. But let's go back, man. Let's go back to it, right? So look, we're gonna go into the walking on water, right? Like that's not normal. You define in the elements, bro. You walking on water. You breaking 5 bread. You breaking. Look up to heaven, break bread, and you fed 5,000. That's amazing. Supernatural, man. Supernatural, right? Let's go into Yahawah walks on water, right? And straight away, Yahawah constrained his disciples to get into the ship and to go before him unto the other side while he sent the multitude away. And when he had sent the multitude away, he went up into the mountain apart to pray. And when the evening was come, he was there alone. And the ship was now in the midst of the sea, tossed tossed with waves, for the wind was contrary, right? And in the 4th watch of the night, Yahawah went unto them, walking on the sea. Whoo, man. And he was walking on the sea, the water. Not even worried about the winds. He's just out there walking. Yahawah, man, had the power, man, to control everything. Man. Had the power through the Spirit, man, the Holy Spirit, the power to rebuke the wind and tell the wind to peace be still. And the wind be still. And they was like, what manner of man is this? That he commands the wind. Supernatural, man. And Lord willing, we are the elect, and we'll be able to do the same, right? Right? And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a spirit, and they cried out of fear. They couldn't even understand it, man. They couldn't even understand it. But straight away, Yahawah spake unto them, saying, be of good cheer. It is I. Be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be thou bid me come unto thee, bid me, right? Come unto thee on the water, right? Come unto me on the water, right? Salakia. I ain't the best reader, but it's all right, right? And he said, come, right? And the Lord said, he told him to come. Whoo! And when Peter was down, when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to Yahawah. The Lord said, come, and he was able to do it. Wow, he just spoke and told him to come. He asked him, the Lord said, come. And Peter was doing it. He walked on the water to Yahawah, man. Whew, man. And how it goes, Peter, lost faith or whatever, but the whole thing is this though. Man, I'm just gonna, but it's good. That's a good read, y'all. So the point is that he was able to walk on the water, the elements. He He was able to walk on the water, and that is not natural. It's supernatural, right? Let's get into it, man. Let's continue to go, right? He was able to turn water into wine. He was able to feed 5,000, men and the women, children. It was more probably people there off of 5 loaves and 2 fish. What you tell me what's natural about that? Ain't nothing natural about that. That's supernatural. That is divine, bruh. Power. Let's go to yep, that's the one I want to go to next. It's all, man. Take notes, y'all. It's just these are nuggets, man. Like no other power is doing this. I don't care about Buddha, none of this, man. Buddha ain't doing it. Whatever God y'all serving, man. No other power above or under, in between, nothing can do what Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua can do. Through the spirit of the Rakakadash, man. Like, let's go to First Kings, right? First Kings, I believe was it 18 and what was it? Bear with me. Yep, 38. I think 18 and 38, man. I guess I ain't the best reader, but I pray, I hope this is edifying, man. Right? Right? This is First Kings 18 and 38. Then fire, and I know I probably read this earlier, and I want to go back over it again because, you got to really understand that this is serious, man. I guess the Spirit want me to go back to this. This is divine, right? Because this was not supposed to, naturally, this was not supposed to happen the way it happened, man. Then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt offering sacrifice, and the wood and the stone and the dust. It lit up the water that was in the trenches. And while I'm going back to this, everything was covered in water, wet, but it still got consumed. I want to understand that things that are drenched and wet does not consume and burn up. But the Lord ended up judging those prophets, The Lord showed him that he was real, but he ended up restarting them because they was wicked, them Baal prophets, man. It was wicked, man. The Lord destroyed them, man, had them destroyed. And when it says, and when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces. And what else could you do? You see a fire come from heaven, consume something that's wet, it's drenched. It's drenched. Fire come from heaven. That's amazing in itself. Burn the altar up that was wet, and it consumes it. Come on, all praises to Yahawah Ba'Shem Yahushua. And when all the people saw it, they fell on their faces, man. And they said that the Lord, he is God, Yahawah, right? The Lord, he is power, Yahawah, man. That's Yahawah, right? And Elijah said unto them, take the prophets of Baal, let not one of them escape. Now it's time for y'all to be judged. You know what I'm saying? And they took them. It says, and they took them, and Elijah brought them down to the brook Cauldron, which means winding, and slew them there. Whoo, man. After the Lord showed himself to you, after all that, now you know that who the Lord is, man. Now he got to destroy you. Because the Bible says that there should be no other God. You should put no other God before me. And they did a lot, because that Baal, if you know about Baal worship, they kill the kids and they throw them into the fire, bro. Wicked ass shit, man. When Baal prophets was wicked, man. The Lord's all right, now you know. Now I'm gonna put your ass to death. And they slew them, right? Let's go back, make sure. But yeah. Touched on that. Yep, Con. I can even go into part in the Red Sea. That's not natural. That's supernatural. That's divine power, man. Only Yahawah can do. Yahawah Ba'ashem Shai can do, man. You know what I mean? Let me read the meaning of supernatural again. It says, in a way that goes beyond the natural laws. The Lord, the only one that can step into elements and cause them not to do what they normally would do. He caused water to stand up and make a path. He parted the Red Sea and made a path. The water was standing up and it looked like the aquarium. Only the Lord can step in and make the elements work the way he wants the elements to work. And that's why I'm getting at with it, man. Right? Right? And then it says right here, let's continue to read, right? It says natural laws of the world. Something that cannot be explained. The show can't be explained by science or nature, right? It can't be explained, right? It refers to miraculous, divine, or spiritual actions that only Yahawah, who the world isn't called God, Yah meaning he, Hawa meaning is, who exists, or a spiritual force could do. And we know who the spiritual force is. Only Yahawah can, Ba'ashem Yahawah Shai can do this. Yahawah Ba'ashem Yahawah Shai can do this. Only. Right? Supernatural usually refers to Yahawah doing something miraculous, like healing the sick. Right? The Lord is in control of healing. Too. I say, I wound and I healeth. Right? He killed and make of alive. Let's go to it. Why not? You know. And then, see, let's see, 1 Samuel 2 and verse 6. The Lord, see, like, yeah, this the one I wanted. This is the one I wound. That's not the one. But the Lord is in control of life and death. The Lord kill it. He make it alive. He bring it down to the grave and he bring it up. The Lord make it rich. The Lord make it poor. He bringeth low and lifteth up. The Lord is in control of everything. Life, death, elements, anything you name it, man. The Lord is in control of it, man. Let me see. Let me see if I can get it from chat, right? Bear with me, y'all. I wound and I healeth. What Bible verse is that? I knew it was Deuteronomy, man. Yep. See now, it says Deuteronomy 3 and 39, right? And he says, see now that I, even I, am he, and there is no God or power, with me. I kill and I make it alive. I wound and I heal it. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. The Lord's even control of you being healed. You being, you know what I'm saying? You got the medicine and the medicine still don't work. But the only way the medicine will work is if the Lord is allowing it to work, man. For real, man. Come on. You understand who's in control here of everything, the elements, his supernatural power. Woman, the issue of blood, 12 years, man, no one can heal him. But when Yahawah came on the scene, came with the divine power, all she did was believe and touch the hem of his garment and got healed. And Yahawah, he said, I assume I felt virtue leave me. Someone touched me intimately, like someone touched me, somebody pulled from me. So I felt something leave me. And he said it was a whole bunch of people in that room, but he felt that connection through that lady because of her belief, man. That was divine. You don't touch, that's not natural. You don't touch no one's garment and be healed. That's supernatural. That's divine. right? Let's go to this one, Elijah, and I'm gonna end it with this one, Lord willing, and I'll end it. Could be a part 2 to this one. So much, it's like, Lord willing, it could be, but let's see, man. First Kings, let's go to First Kings 17, and we're gonna start at 6, right? Bear with me, y'all. Here we go. 17. Now, around this time, it was a famine, right? In the land, right? And matter of fact, we can start at yeah, matter of fact, yeah. Let's start right here in 1. And it says right here, Elijah, right? Bear with me, y'all. Yeah, I'm gonna start. Yeah, man. Let these windows down. Yep, here we go. Yep. This is 1 Kings 17, verse 1. And it says, in Elijah, the Tishbite, right? Who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, right? Bear with me, y'all. Said unto Ahab, as the Lord of Israel liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, right? But according to my word, it says, but according to my word, and the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence, and turn eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cauldron. I think, not Cauldron, but it's called Sereth, right? So, like, if I say it wrong, that is before Jordan, right? And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. You commanding ravens to feed you. That's not even normal. See what I mean? So he went, so here you go right here. So he went in and did according unto the word of the Lord. For he went and dwelt by the brook Sereth, that is before the Jordan, right? And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening. So not only in the morning, the birds brought it, the evening too. He got food, meat, flesh, bread from the birds, man, from ravens, and drank of the brook. And it came to pass after a while that the brook dried up. Now, you take mine, it's not even raining. It's a drought, a water drought. But yet the Lord created him a way for him to drink and eat and drink, right? The brook dried up because there had been no rain in the land. That the Lord is amazing. Man, let's continue to go. We're gonna see another miracle, right? And the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, arise, get thee to Zarephath, right? Which where they melted metals and stuff there, right? Which belonged to Zidon, and and dwelled there. Behold, I have commanded a widow woman there to sustain thee, right? Keep him in the time, right? So he arose and went to Zarephath. And when he came to the gate of the city, behold, the widow woman was there gathering sticks, and called her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water, water in a vessel, that I may drink. And it says right here, and she said, it says, we're going to fetch it. She said, we're going to fetch it. And he called her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread in thy hand. And she said, as the Lord thy power, Yahawah, liveth, right? I have not cake, but a handful of meal in a barrel, and a little oil in a cruse, right? And behold, it says, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go and dress it for me and my son, that we may eat it, right, and die. And Elijah said unto her, fear not, go and do as thou hast said, right? Do as thou hast said, but make thereof a little cake first, and bring it unto me. After make for thee and for thy son, right? So he said, okay, go ahead and get that. Said that she was going to make for the son, and bring it to him, right? He says, it says unto me, and after make for thee and for thy son. For thus saith the Lord Yahawah of Israel, the barrel of meal shall not waste, right? Neither shall the cruse of oil fail until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. So you telling me that you got endless supply of meal that never runs out, oil that never runs out. That is supernatural. It never ran out. It never failed. It kept on going until it rained. So only the Lord can I'm telling you, only the Lord can do something like this. The oil never ran out. And this is also teaching me that the Lord kept the men of the Lord. Lord willing, I pray we are the elect, and Lord, we keep us in the time that we're heading to Jacob's trouble. He kept his prophets, his men of the Lord. In the time of famines and the time of trouble, the Lord was there for them in a supernatural way. That's not natural, where you don't run out of meal and oil. The barrels kept filling up themselves until it started raining. That is supernatural, man. That's the whole point, man. Right? And she went and did according to the saying of Elijah, and he in her house did eat many days. And the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the curse of oil fail, right? According to the word of the Lord, which he spake to the Lord, which he spake by Elijah. It's so much, man. Raising them from the dead, them all miracles, man. Them all supernatural, not natural miracles, man. Right? But yeah, man, kind of get the point, man. I'll have to read it on down. So like if I stumbled over the words, but I pray and hope this was edifying. The whole point is, man, all those things that happened was not natural. Men can do it. Only a supernatural power, which is Yahawah, can do it. And the only way we allowed to do it is if the Lord gives us the power to do it. But it's still Yahawah by Hashem Shai's power, man. Divine and miraculous and divine spiritual power, man. Not by my might, no, not by my power, but by your spirit, Lord. By his spirit, we're able to do all these things. We can't do nothing without the Rakakadash, his Holy Spirit, his power, his yes. He has to allow it. But like I say, man, like I say, I took a little long, but hey, through the Spirit, man, the Lord, moves where he wants to. So I'll give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakakadash. Also double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone. Peace, love, and salutations to the hopeful elect. I gotta say, man, I pray and hope this is edifying till next time. You know what I'm saying? I say, if it be a next time, Shalom.